So it is known that populations such as shift workers have higher risk of developing cancer, but the molecular mechanisms between this connection are not very well understood. So we really wanted to shed light on some of these mechanisms to try to understand the connection between circadian disruption and cancer risk.
In our study, we used a protocol that's come to be known as chronic jet lag, in which we expose mice to an altered light-dark cycle in which the lights are turned on 8 hours earlier 3 times a week. And so by the end of the week, they come back in sync, but they're experiencing this disruption. It's really like a severe rotating shift work schedule. Our results, first of all, showed a really striking increase in lung tumor formation in the mice that were exposed to circadian disruption. It was a bigger increase than we expected, honestly. And then beyond that, we found that genes that are typically activated by increased temperature were turned on in the lungs and tumors from mice that were exposed to circadian disruption. And that was not expected. But once we saw that result, it made perfect sense. This connection between circadian rhythms and this heat shock response had been shown by other groups. In particular, Uli Schibler's group from Switzerland had done quite a bit of research connecting those two pathways, but it had never been seen before that this heat shock response was turned on by circadian disruption.
So we were, I wouldn't say surprised about this activation of HSF1, but we were not expecting it. I think it's because this connection between HSF1 pathways and circadian rhythms are not very well studied. And we were more expecting something like activation of immune pathways or cell cycle regulation, which are more known to be under circadian control. But now that we have the results, it's totally making sense that actually HSF1 can be activated upon circadian disruption.
So next, we would like to first of all, directly measure body temperature and how it's affected by circadian disruption. And second of all, it will be really important for us to investigate whether this increase in this specific gene network is required for the increase in cancer risk. We've seen that circadian disruption increases the activity of this gene network that's regulated by body temperature. And there's other research that has proven that this gene network can play an important role in cancer development, but we need to ask, connect those dots basically. Is the activation of this gene network by circadian disruption required for the increase in cancer risk caused by circadian disruption?